Hi guys, did you miss me? You know you did. So this video is going to cover perimeter and area of polygons. In the last lesson, we talked about what a polygon is, the different types of polygons, well, most of them, some of their characteristics. And now we are going to learn about one of their attributes, or not really attributes. One of the ways they can be useful. There we go. We're going to do that through perimeter and area, but we can't talk about how to do it until you know what you're doing. So the first vocabulary word that may or may not ring a bell from previous lives is this guy right here. Perimeter is the distance around the outside of a polygon. That's all it is. It doesn't matter how many sides it's got. It doesn't matter what kind of polygon you've got. You are going to find the distance around the outside. Area is a little bit different. Area covers. Area is the number of square units. So like the square floor tiles out in different hallways. The number of square units it takes to cover the inside of a polygon. So area would be like the carpet in your dorm room. It would be the amount of paint you need to paint a wall. It would be the number of square feet of sheetrock you need to, I don't know, repair a giant hole in a wall. The amount of sod you need for your backyard, while perimeter would be the linear feet of fencing you need to go around the outside of the yard. So while we do these, we are going to review what the shapes look like. We're going to label some of them so that our area formulas make sense. Perimeter, I hope you start to see a pattern. So a parallelogram was a polygon with two pair of parallel sides. Usually it looks kind of like that. Now these things have a base. And a height. Notice we did not use this side for the height. That's because it's not the height. The height has to make a right angle. Oh, that was unfortunate. With either the ground or the sky. You get a little right angle right here. That makes that the line for the height. It would be the same as if we put it outside. If we drew a line from the top of the polygon straight down to the ground, that would also be the line for the height. If you know the measurements for all of the sides for a parallelogram, Let's say this was 11. I need to switch that back. Let's say this was 11 and 11 and 4 and 4. How would you find the distance around the outside? Oh, I think I heard somebody say it. You would add all the sides. You were exactly right. That's it. You would add up all the sides. So we would add 11 plus 11 plus 4 plus 4. Now, area has its own formula. The area of a parallelogram is the base multiplied by the height. The units are always going to be squared. So feet squared, inches squared, square centimeters, square miles. A rectangle. It's not going to straighten out my shape. There's my rectangle. I think one side is a little crooked, but that's okay. Remember, for a rectangle, we have two pair of opposite congruent sides. So the short pieces are equal and the long pieces are equal. And all of the corners are 90 degrees. So if you have a picture that says the top is 20, and one of the short pieces is 3, this is not drawn to scale, you automatically know 2 more pieces of information. You know that the other short piece is 3, and then the bottom is 20. Now, if I wanted to find the perimeter, if I wanted to find the distance around the outside of my rectangle, you guessed it, we are going to add all the sides. If I want to find the area, so maybe I have a rectangular room and I need to know how many square feet of carpet to buy. Area is base times height, where we have a base and a height. A square is just a special little rectangle. We're going to pretend that that's square. It is a special rectangle. That means it has all right angles. But what makes it special is that all of the sides are the same size. So you are going to be given a rectangle with, or a parallelogram. Back up. A square. But they may only give you one side. Well, dude, this means you get the other 3 sides for free. It's like buy one, get 3 free. That's a sweet deal. But you got to pay attention to what you're doing or you're going to miss it. For the perimeter, I'm going to add up all the sides. For the area of the square, you're going to use base times height again. But Miss Graham, if they're the same number, wasn't that just be like base times base? Don't complicate things. Go with one formula that works for everything. You are right. It would be like multiplying base by times base, but that's just another formula you have to remember. For the parallelogram, the rectangle, and the square, same formula, base times height. So you have the base and the height. I'm going to jump down and do the triangle first because it's easier to draw. Give yourself some room because we're going to look at a couple different triangles. Not because it's hard, but depending on what kind of triangle it is, the height can be in different places. So we're going to start with this guy. This is my attempt at an isosceles triangle. Remember, an isosceles triangle means that two of the sides are the same. So if this side is 10, then this side is 10. In this case, the height of my triangle is going to drop straight down from the middle, from that top vertex. And it's going to make a right angle with the base. So you get the base along the bottom, and you get the height in the middle. If you should have a right triangle, right triangle, your base, and your height are the two sides that make up that right angle. It's never going to be the one that doesn't touch the right angle. It's never going to be the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is the hypotenuse. The other type of triangle you might see would be an obtuse triangle. In an obtuse triangle, I'm going to put a line at the bottom so you can see where that baseline is. I have a reason, I promise. You still get the base. From there to there. The part that people get stuck on with an obtuse triangle is the height, because the height of the triangle is actually outside of the triangle itself. Close enough. And that throws some people off. Because in order to draw a line straight down to the ground, it has to be outside of the triangle. So for an obtuse triangle, this guy out here is the height. I can't zoom out. That's fun. There we go. So I'm hoping by now you're seeing a pattern. For perimeter, you're going to add up all the sides. For the area, area is 1/2 of the base times the height. Your other option that a lot of people prefer, but you get to the same place, is base times height divided by 2. Same thing. Pick one and get good at it. The last one we are going to hold you responsible for is the trapezoid. The trapezoid can have a couple of different forms. Trapezoid could look like that. It could look like the top of Snoopy's doghouse. It could look like a wonky version of Snoopy's doghouse. But it has the same pieces. You get a base and a base. But that's the top, Miss Graham. No, it's called a base. On the other trapezoid, get a base and a base. On this one over here on the right, or on the left, the height is the distance between the bases. It just so happens to be the same as that side over there on the left. It's called the leg. Oh. In the other trapezoid, same idea. It's still the distance between the bases. It just looks a little bit different. So I want to make sure you see both kinds. Perimeter, we're going to add all the sides. Ms. Graham, why do we have to write that so many times? Because someone, regardless of how many times we write it, is still not going to know how to find perimeter. Area for a trapezoid, even though they look different, same thing. We're going to do the base. We'll call it base 1 times or plus base 2 times the height. And we're going to divide everything by 2. If you don't like that fraction, if that fraction makes you a little twitchy, you can also use this one. Area is half times h times base 1 times base or plus base 2. Those will get you to the same place. It just depends on what you're more comfortable with. Stay tuned because in the next video, we are going to put these to good use.